On behalf of Children and Family Futures and the Family Drug Court Learning Academy, welcome to our webinar presentation. Special thanks to the Office of Juvenile Justice and Delinquency Prevention, who supports the National Family Drug Court Training and Technical Assistance Program. For more information about Children and Family Futures, the Learning Academy, and the Family Drug Court Training and Technical Assistance Program, please visit our website at www.cffutures.org. We hope you find this presentation helpful as you strengthen your partnerships and improve outcomes in your family drug court.
Hello, my name is Tessa Richter, and I want to welcome you to our presentation, Checklist to Change, Rethinking Phases, Recovery, and Reunification in Your Family Treatment Court. This presentation will explore opportunities for your treatment court team to re-examine your current program so you can support real behavioral change for participant families. We will explore opportunities for you to rethink your approach and phase structure to achieve what matters most to your families and to better align program and agency goals and timelines. If you are in the planning phase, this presentation will offer some important ideas to consider as you design your family treatment court. This presentation will also highlight some strategies to help you support and monitor behavioral change, whether you are serving in an FTC or not. Secondly, we are offering a team discussion guide that provides some questions to explore with your team or on your own. You can access this and other helpful resources on this presentation's webpage located on our website at www.cffutures.org. First, I want to start off with a question. Why do we have phases and checklists to begin with? We know that phases are a big part of the drug court model. Movement from one phase to another is based on the completion of objective criteria signifying progress from admission through graduation. As an adaptation of the adult drug court model, family treatment courts emerged, adopting many of the same elements of the specialty court model, including the use of a phase structure. Since then, however, we have learned that FTCs and adult drug courts are uniquely different for a variety of reasons. Unlike adult drug courts, FTCs operate within the timelines of the Adoption and Safe Families Act, which sets time limits on how much time a parent has to reunify with their child. That is particularly challenging for families affected by parental substance use due to the challenges of recovery. Secondly, engagement can be particularly challenging. In adult drug courts, participation in the program is a part of an agreement to avoid a criminal sentence, such as time in jail. In family treatment court, participation is voluntary and presented as an option versus receiving services only through the regular dependency docket. With no immediate consequences such as incarceration, FTC teams are challenged in convincing parents of the benefits of participation. Thirdly, with their focus on family recovery and family reunification, FTCs are faced with multiple layers of screenings, assessments, and service provision. There is the initial and ongoing assessments and decisions regarding child safety and risk of future maltreatment, in addition to the screening and clinical assessments and recommended levels of care that may change throughout the course of recovery. There are multiple agencies with different mandates and timelines and multiple case plans or treatment plans that must be coordinated. Finally, family systems are inherently more complex. By attending to the needs of each family member and the family unit as a whole, treatment and other support services must be comprehensive and reflect the complexities of family recovery and family reunification. Clearly, there's a lot going on for the FTC team, its partner agencies, and of course, for the family themselves. So, let's go back to the question, why do we have checklists and phases? Checklists and phases help ensure equity and fairness in how we provide supervision and monitoring. This helps us stay objective in our decision-making and avoid bias and subjectivity. Checklists and phases help keep everyone on the same page. Parents and professionals know what to expect. Phases and case plans provide a roadmap for everyone involved on how to achieve an identified goal. Checklists are also appealing because it gives us a perception of progress and that change is underway. But in reality, achieving change for families, especially in the child welfare system, is not as black and white. Let me explain by sharing some concepts here. According to Wesley, Zimmerman, and Patton, there are 3 types of problems: simple problems, complicated problems, and complex problems. Baking a cake would be considered a simple problem. Solutions, or in this case following a recipe, may involve some understanding of terminology and technique, but once mastered, following the same recipe carries an assurance of likely success in future attempts with nearly the same results. Sending a rocket to the moon, on the other hand, would be considered a complicated problem. The task, of course, requires sophisticated mathematical, technical, and engineering expertise. Scientists map out a detailed design with flowcharts and step-by-step procedures for implementation that reduces variation in execution and resistance from any team member. It is a highly rational, mechanical, and smooth process, but when executed once, can be executed again with relatively high degree of certainty. In contrast, helping families affected by substance use reunify with their children would be considered a complex problem. That's because families are inherently complex. Each case involves a complex array of individuals, relationships, and issues. A wide number of possible interventions exist, yet there is no recipe, protocol, or case plan that can guarantee success. Instead of forcing compliance with prescribed solutions, the most useful solutions emerge by getting people to work collectively in a coordinated fashion. Expertise and experience can help, but only if they are responsive to the unique challenges and needs of each family. Therefore, I think we can agree that working with families is not rocket science, it's actually harder, as evidenced by these challenging questions for agencies. Are we taking a cookie-cutter or one-size-fits-all approach towards case plan development without assessing the unique needs of the family? Are there multiple case plans? If so, are they coordinated? Are we overwhelming parents with the volume of services to complete? Do all partner agencies and providers and the family each understand what needs to happen for reunification or successful case closure? From the perspective of parents, these struggles are expressed in various ways. Why didn't I have any input in developing this case plan? This case plan doesn't address what I really need. I do what you ask me, and you constantly tell me it's not enough. If I complete everything, will I get my kids back? As you can see, complex problems involve difficult decisions, ambiguity, multiple goals and time clocks, and inherent unpredictability. But we cannot oversimplify the process of recovery and reunification into a checklist by trying to turn a complex problem into a complicated problem. We are not saying that you should not have checklists or that phases are not useful. Your team and your clients absolutely need them. Instead, we want to use checklists and phases to help your team and families focus on supporting real behavior change as part of their recovery and demonstration of safe parenting. This will require you to re-examine or rethink the following. How do you define success, and how do your families see success? How is your FTC engaging families in the change process? How are you monitoring and supporting true behavior change? For families involved in the child welfare system, case plans become a crucial part of the parent's life. Whether parents complete services and change behaviors are the deciding factors in determining whether a child returns home or stays home. What is success for families? Is it the number of days of sobriety? Is it negative drug screens? Is it treatment completion or attending all 14 weeks of a parenting class? Is success graduation? If you want to ensure that families are doing more than checking the boxes and going through the motions of participation, it will be important that you have a clear idea of what success looks like. One way to rethink success is to highlight the distinction between compliance and adherence. Compliance is when a participant follows the requirements of a program or directives of a counselor, social worker, attorney, or judge. Adherence, on the other hand, is when a participant lives a self-directed life and takes ownership of their recovery. Compliance emphasizes the power dynamic between the participant and the agents of the larger child welfare, court, and treatment systems, and its use of authority. Adherence empowers the participant to become partners in the change process. So, what does adherence to a life of recovery look like? SAMHSA offers a working definition of recovery that is helpful here. Recovery is a process of change through which individuals improve their health and wellness, live a self-directed life, and strive to reach their full potential. SAMHSA offers 4 domains or dimensions that support a life in recovery. First, there is the domain of health. This involves managing one's disease or substance use disorder. One way to do that is through abstinence. But health also means making informed, healthy choices that support physical and emotional well-being, such as physical activity, diet, sleep, and nutrition. Second, there is the domain of home. We know that housing remains a huge gap for many families in the child welfare system, but does the family have a stable and safe place to live? Third, there is purpose. Does the family engage in meaningful daily activities, such as a job, school, volunteerism, family caretaking, or creative endeavors? Are they demonstrating independence, income, and resources to participate in society? And last, community. Has the family established relationships and social networks that provide support, friendship, love, and hope? Has the family developed a sense of connection, belonging, and a well-developed support system? Resist any urge to turn these domains into a checklist. Rather, these 4 domains offer a robust and holistic view of what a life in recovery looks like, always keeping in mind that recovery is a process of change. Many FTCs have taken concrete steps to assess and support families along these 4 domains. One first step is to rethink the focus of your discussions as a team and with families. For many FTC teams, the standard topics of conversation are around compliance activities. If your primary focus is treatment attendance, days of sobriety, and positive or negative tests, this is where your families will focus. These are important pieces of information, but will not tell you about a person's adherence to a life in recovery. Try expanding your discussions of progress by expanding your view of recovery. Including these domains in family staffing sheets is an intentional way of talking about family recovery during staffing and FTC sessions. For example, instead of just reporting on compliance and attendance, have a discussion about relationships between the child and parent, what parents are doing in the community, and how families are applying what they are learning. This provides a more holistic view of their progress. These 4 domains can also be used to formulate proximal and distal goals to shape desired behavior. Proximal goals are behaviors that participants are already capable of engaging in and are necessary for long-term objectives to be achieved. Distal goals are the behaviors that are ultimately desired but may take time to achieve. Phase advancement or behavioral benchmarks recognize that what was once a distal goal now becomes proximal. For example, you would not expect a parent with a long-term SUD to obtain employment in the early phases of the program, but would have that expectation later in their progress. The 4 domains of recovery provide opportunities for your team to engage in important discussions. For example, it provides a framework for responding to a wide range of behaviors, including resumed drug use. Although sobriety is an appropriate goal, recovery may include a lapse or relapse. A lapse occurs when there is a slip in recovery in which a person uses but returns immediately back into all the activities and supports that are part of recovery. A lapse provides an opportunity to identify trigger situations, reformulate a safety plan, and discuss any needed therapeutic adjustments with the participant. A relapse is a more serious downward spiral into addiction or return to symptoms that resulted in the initial substance use disorder diagnosis. Your team should have a discussion about the difference between lapse and relapse. From a treatment perspective, you can use the domains of recovery to help parents back on track. From a child welfare and safety perspective, it will be important to identify protective factors as you determine risk and safety. These protective factors include supportive social connections, knowledge of parenting and child development, nurturing capacity and parent-child attachment, concrete support, and family resilience. Your team should also have a discussion about perfect versus safe parenting and continuously monitor discussions in which we are expecting parents to be perfect. Expecting perfection can easily happen when you have a large team of professionals with different perspectives discussing a family on a regular basis. There are many reasons why FTCs are considering moving towards a behavioral benchmark or milestones approach. These reasons include to achieve greater alignment between the FTC program and child dependency case. Traditional phases may align with the parent's recovery, but often don't work within ASFA timelines or when focused on family recovery. This misalignment will sometimes result in family reunification happening after graduation from the FTC program, or progression in parenting time not moving in line with successful participation in the FTC program. Another reason to consider the milestones approach is to achieve greater alignment for what matters most to clients. For many parents participating in a family treatment court, the phase structure and what number phase they are in has little meaning to their child welfare case plan. What they care most about is how often they see their children and when their children would be back home with them. If you want to align your efforts with what matters most to your families, you will need to engage them differently. Imagine you are a parent receiving a case plan with a long list of things you need to do to get your kids back. You have 12 to 15 months to do it all, and if you fail, you will lose your children forever. Not only have your children been taken away, you have also lost your voice and ability to speak up. In family treatment courts, we have the opportunity to engage families in an empowering way by treating parents like parents and treating families like families. Real change happens when we affirm their desire to become the kind of parents they want to be and draw from their inherent strengths to achieve these goals. Here are a few examples of FTCs adopting a family-centered milestones approach. One FTC renamed its phases based on key issues in each phase as a way of helping participants understand the goals. For example, one program aligned its phases with visitation status. Phases were no longer numbered 1 through 4, but restructured with the following benchmarks: unsupervised visits, overnight visits, trial home visit, reunification, and case closed. Goal sheets were developed for each benchmark and included goals that were formulated with input from all agencies and the parents. Another FTC restructured its phases, still keeping them numbered 1 through 4, but then added in behavioral benchmarks to each phase along with checklist requirements. For example, parents had to engage versus merely attend a set number of weeks of treatment at the level recommended. Prior to graduation, parents also had to demonstrate they could take responsibility for their children's needs by attending doctor's appointments, talking to the child's therapist, and attending parent-teacher conferences. One family treatment court that adopted a milestones approach uses their recovery support specialist to develop an individualized recovery plan with participants that is centered on substance use disorder treatment and community support. They no longer believe in the one-size-fits-all program. Each goal sheet is unique to the needs of the individual family. Essentially, participants are engaged in designing their own treatment court program. Another family treatment court gave written assignments to participants as they completed each milestone. These assignments required participants to respond to various questions or reflective prompts such as, what role did drugs or alcohol play in the removal of your children? What are the benefits of sobriety for you? Write a goodbye letter to your addiction. Write a letter to your children about how addiction affected your family. Is there anything you think you may not get through sober? Such as someone close to you relapsing, someone close to you dying, something bad happening to your child? What do you need to do to increase your confidence in your ability to handle the above? What challenges do you think you may face following your FTC graduation and the closing of your dependency case? What do you need from those who support you to help face those challenges? Don't forget to include the child's voice and perspective in assessing family needs and safety planning. Ask kids what worries them, what they are happy about, and what would make them feel safe. Having these open discussions are important since children fill in the blanks at their developmental level when adults don't give them explanations, resulting in undue stress and anxiety. These types of discussions form common and supportive language for the family, helping the child to cope with their current situation and what's ahead. We understand that not everyone is ready to restructure their FTC phase structure and adopt a milestones approach, but we hope you found some of these ideas helpful as you take your next steps in supporting behavioral change for your families. In closing, in family treatment courts, we hold parents accountable as they work towards demonstrating safe parenting and a life in recovery. We hold them accountable through case plan compliance, responses to behavior, intensive case management, and increased judicial oversight, all with the goal of demonstrated behavioral change. But in our family treatment courts, we also hold each other accountable. We have to prove ourselves to families as much as they have to prove themselves to the court. FTCs provide this powerful two-way street by seeing parents as partners and actual change agents. Dual-sided accountability also means that it is not enough to treat and seek change in parents. It is equally important to treat and change our systems so we can be more responsive to what they need to achieve their goals. We hope you found this presentation helpful as you re-examine your approach, strengthen your partnerships, and improve outcomes of the children and families you serve. Again, we encourage you to download the team discussion guide as well as our Take Action guide for some next steps. We'd love to hear from you as you do this important work of changing the experiences and futures of all children and families in your community. Please contact us at fdc@cffutures.org if we can be of any future assistance. Thank you for listening.